Welcome back, welcome back. For the first time in its 250-year-old history, the main space of London's Royal Academy of Arts has been taken over by a living artist. The Indian-born, British-based sculptor Anish Kapoor has filled the gallery with a selection of huge, colourful, sometimes messy works. They include Shooting into the Corner, a cannon that fires tins of red wax into the walls, and the monumental Sui Amb, a 40-ton block of scarlet wax that travels through 5 rooms on rails. Anish is with me now to talk about his art, his expedition, and the fact that he is still alive, and that's unique in terms of the Royal Academy. Well. Now the thing people have said is because of the ambitious nature of your sculptures, that in fact they're almost feats of engineering as well. I mean, some have been. You have a factory almost of sort of 20 people working on this. I mean, in a sense, the engineering and so on is almost as important as the original idea, I suppose.
Well, sculpture is all about how things stand up, and if they stand up, and sometimes the improbability of them being this way or that or whatever. So it forms part of the language of a kind of structure and how stuff works in a way. As far as assistants in the studio goes, you know, Michelangelo had a lot of assistants, and it's not, I mean, in a way that, of course, sculpture's a long process. It's a process that really does take a very long time.
Yes. Does it come out sometimes with the complexity, does it sometimes come out differently to the way you expected?
I think, you know, sometimes I'll set out with an idea and kind of work it through, and at other times I'll set out without an idea. Right. And allow something to emerge from the process. That's pretty important.
Yes, let's take a look now at the there is the cannon we mentioned earlier. Now, how was that put together? I mean, was it done in a factory or in?
Surprisingly, you can build a cannon and not even ask for permission. Astonishingly, right. So we put it together in a factory in South London. It's run with air, so it's pressured with air, and it shoots pellets of wax that are about that big, weighing about 10 kilos. What I'm interested in is the sense that, in a way, making a mark is an act of violence. So this thing is sort of making a painting. It's targeted at the corner. In this particular installation, the corner's situated in another little room. So it's one removed. We're shooting through the doorway into the other room. Now, the corner, of course, is a place of deep symbolism, in the sense that without a corner, there is no such thing as architecture. Right. So it's almost emblematic of culture, of civilization in some way. And then, of course, there's a kind of psychodrama going on between this thing that's making this terribly violent mark and the corner which receives it. It's almost like a tension, almost a kind of sexual tension as well between these two elements.
Yeah, I see. Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at another one here that we've got. Now, what are the textures we're seeing there in that?
These are made with a very sophisticated printing machine that I've developed over the years, this printing machine literally prints these objects. It's a sophisticated piece of electronics and mechanics.
And what is it called, that one?
This work is called Grayman Cries, Shaman Dies, Bellowing Smoke, Beauty Evoked. So it's a kind of poetic recall to objects that don't specify quite what they are. They could be objects that come out of an excavation. They obviously have very strong bodily associations, and so on. So it's a process that has a layering of meanings rather than a singular.
Well, that was one of the things I was thinking as you were saying that. I mean, it has a layering of meanings. So, do you want people to get your prime idea from looking at these, or is whatever they get from it equally valid? I mean, T.S. Eliot said originally, didn't he, a work of art has a life of its own. I mean, is anything we draw from these, any meaning we draw from these valid?
I think the whole modernist project, if you like, of the last 100 years has been with this idea that art stimulates what we already know at some level, and it's the depth of that stimulation that is and the range of it, one should say, that is the quality of the work. So great works, we hope, probe different areas of life, and that's what one's after. The picture we're looking at right now, or I'm looking at right now anyway, is of a work called Yellow. It's a monochrome field, rather big in the room, as you can see there. And it really hovers between being object and, being an object, a physical thing in the room, and a kind of illusion. So you're immersed in this field of yellow. So many of the works in the show work with colour in this way.
And what are the emotions you're expecting from the people who see these? Are you wanting awe or a smile on occasions, or what?
Awe is good. Awe is good. We like awe. I think the scale that I tend to choose gives a sense of immersion, that one is kind of enveloped here in yellow, or in other conditions. So I think of colour often not as a surface, a layer on top of something, but colour is like, as water is wet, yellow is yellow. You know, that sense of it being a kind of a thing completely whole unto itself. I'm looking for those sorts of moments of recognition, perhaps, in the viewer.
Well, that's terrific. Thank you for those descriptions and the works of art as well. And
Good.
I look forward to seeing them in the flesh. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, David.
Anish Kapoor there, talking to me earlier. In a minute, I'll be joined by the former Finnish president and Nobel Peace Prize winner, Martti Ahtisaari, plus the latest on the crisis, the constitutional crisis in Nicaragua. All after this short break.